industry disruptor means and how we can be one. So welcome this morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's Sam Skaggs, but we're learning to know one another. I'm so delighted to be here. I'm really a rookie, so I'll just tell you straight up. I started on Father's Day. Todd Konofsky and Cowboy and Justin, all three talked to me. They kind of triple tagged me. And so by the time I got done, I was saying, Uncle, I'm in. I had some bad experiences. I don't know if any of you ever had any bad experiences in affiliate marketing, but I did. So I went through inner healing and got it worked out. Started calling some of my friends some of them are in the room today. They're pretty high-powered leaders. I'm so honored that they joined me. We're all from Virginia that's on this team. We have some others that are spread out, but the ones from Virginia are here. And so glad to be here with you. So honored that JD asked me to help out. I just want to share a few thoughts with you. And after you hear it, you're going to go, that's pretty simple. So I'm a simple guy, but I was able to go to gold in 8 weeks. I only share that with you that it's possible. Whatever your dream is with this company, it's possible. And it's for real. I told my guys, I said, I'm going to climb all the way to Mount Everest. I'm going to check all the buttons and push all the wheels and make sure it's real. It has nothing to do with anybody other than me. Because what we have when we are doing this kind of a business is our own integrity, our own influence. And I was so happy to finally meet Antoine last night because he really inspired me along the way. And so here we are, and I can't believe I'm finally at this convention. And I wanted to share with you a few thoughts of mine. I mean, my first thought is that this is one of the greatest opportunities I've ever seen. I've been in business for almost 40 years, doing different kinds of things. And I was very excited about this great opportunity. So when I talk to people, many times I ask them, if you could change your economic situation, would you take action? Now, a lot of you have your own opening pitches and different things you want to say, but that's the question that I've asked that I get a lot of good response from. It depends on, so I listen. Once I ask the question, I listen. Is it income? Is it job? Is it retirement? Is it investments? Where are they? And then we have these great conversations, and I've been able to see about a 90% closing rate. One of the first things I ask them about is the price of bread. Bread in Dallas is $3.50 a loaf right now. Bread across the USA is about $2.50. It's kind of averages $2.50 if you want to buy a loaf of bread. So I don't carry around a silver coin. I carry around a pre-1965 dime. If you can't see it, you can see it here. I carry around a dime, I collect them. I've got a bunch of bags of pre-1965 dimes. Why would I do that? Well, 90% of it's silver. And if you do the math, I won't go into all the math with you, but I did my homework, and I discovered that a dime with 90% silver at spot rate right now is around $2.50. And 100 years ago, guess what a loaf of bread cost? A dime. It cost 10 cents. So if I walk into a store and he's a smart owner, he'll take $2.50 from me, or he'll take a dime. That's pre-1965. Are you following me? So I know this is basic, but when I share that with people that I'm talking to about the business, they kind of just roll their eyes at me and say, what's this all about? And they begin to ask me questions. I begin to tell them, and the next thing I know, they've joined our team. So one of the reasons when I talked to JD about, I said, well, what do you want me to share? How can I help? And I mentioned to him about industry disruption because it's one of my favorite topics. I would have liked to, how many of you like to have been in the apartment the rainy night that they decided to start Uber? How many would like to have been there? Yeah. Because Uber is really one of the greatest taxi companies in the world, but they own no cars. Airbnb, they're the largest hotel chain now in the world, but they own no hotels. Purple, some of you might have heard of Purple. Purple's the largest mattress store in the world, and guess what? They don't own any stores. And so when I started hanging out with Todd and Cowboy, I remember every time I would introduce somebody to talk to Cowboy about this, he kept bringing this up. He kept bringing up the system. He kept talking about the secret of the system. And I said, he really grabbed me. So I thought, there's another great idea. And it's called at-cost metals. But guess what? You guys are in the apartment on the rainy day that this Uber has just started. You're on the ground floor of, I think, one of the most amazing things that could happen, because you don't own any mines yet, do you, JD? I don't think you own any mines yet. Not yet. Troy's shaking his head no, but probably not yet. And so industry disruption ahead. It's a great idea, it's a great system, and it's a great strategy. And that's why when Antoine talked about this last night, it's the perfect timing, perfect products, and the perfect business model. Would you agree with me?
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. So I did a little bit of homework, and I discovered that $1 in 1923 is roughly equivalent to $17 to $20 in 2023. This means that the dollar has lost about 95 to 98% of its purchasing power over the past century. So it's not that bread is going up, it's the purchasing power of the dollar that has gone down, but it hasn't changed for precious metals. In fact, it's getting better. And the more they screw up inflation, monetary policy, and abandonment of the gold standard, the better business opportunity that we have. And that's what I love about what's taking place right now. Here's just one shot of gold's value over 30 years. You all know this. Here's the war over silver. One of the things I wanted to share with you, one of my mentors, his name's Mike Maloney. He works with Robert Kiyosaki. I've had personal contact with him now over the last 15 years. And Mike Maloney says there's going to come a time when silver goes into the hundreds of dollars, possibly even the thousands of dollars per ounce. Silver is consumed in so many modern applications, electronics, solar panels, medical devices, that once it's used, it's gone forever. This makes silver both an investment and a critical industrial commodity, which is why the upside potential is massive. I don't know if you realize that there's going to come a time where the law of supply and demand is going to kick in, and we're not going to have enough silver, and everybody's going to be wanting it, just in the industry, not just investment in the industry. And those of us that have a chair when the music stops, called silver, is going to be an absolutely amazing time for us. So the greatest investment opportunity, investing in precious metals, can be prudent choice for several reasons. Let me just hit them real quick. You know these, but if you didn't, I want to share them with you. Number one, it's a great hedge against inflation. I've already shown that to you. Number two, diversification. I mean, if you are an investor, you know the power of diversification. And so one of the first things I talk to when I talk to investors is, how much is in your portfolio when it comes to precious metals? And I've got a lot of friends who have very, very lucrative portfolios and have very, very little precious metals. And once they're educated to the power of precious metals, they want to make a shift, and they want to get it at cost. It's a safe haven asset. It's a liquid asset. I mean, if you need it, I don't have time to get into the whole tax issue. It's a long-term stored value asset. I mean, the list goes on and on, that these is just a few of the ideas why it's so attractive at such a time as this. One of my customers said this to me, and I wrote it down. He said, I knew that I needed to have an answer for the rapid and consistent devaluation of the dollar with silver and other precious metals. I just kept putting it off because I never had a nest egg to spend on it, until I discovered the lowest monthly price for trading my paper dollars for investment-grade silver, all for the less than a cup of coffee a day. This is one of my customers who said that. I thought that was pretty cool. Another customer said to me, At Cost Metals has made acquiring silver and gold affordable, accessible, achievable for the busy single mom raising her kids, or the college student eating ramen noodles. Just set it and forget it, and watch your silver delivered to you each month with confidence that you're winning the battle against inflation. These are customers that have now joined us, and they're excited about what's taking place. Robert Kiyosaki said, gaining financial knowledge is one of the 5 ways to acquire an unfair advantage. The other 4 are managing taxes, debt, risk, and compensation. He even said recently, somebody said, Robert, if you lost all of your gold and silver, you lost all of your real estate, if you lost all your money, you had to start over tomorrow, what would you do? He said, and I quote, I will find one of the best affiliate marketing companies in the world. I will start there, and I'll build again. I thought, wow, what a statement from somebody who teaches financial knowledge. Well, I shared that with you because one day I was talking to Justin Davis, and he didn't use the word unfair advantage, but he said our advantage against our competitors is simple. I call it our unfair advantage, and the fact is we're not greedy. This is what the owners are saying about the company. This is our unfair advantage, is that we're not greedy. That's a pretty powerful unfair advantage when you say. So I put it in my own words, and I said, in other words, we're a generous, As a company, we're selling precious metals at cost is generous. Our compensation plan is generous. So let's us follow our leaders' example and become a team of generous people. If we do it, we will win the day. I've already seen it happen. There's an old African proverb that says, if you go alone, you can go fast, but if you go together, you'll go further. That's what I think we're about here today and what we want to do. So the best compliment you can give is a referral. And the best part of it is you can be paid. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Sam Skaggs, minus the R. I got it this time. All right, next we're going to invite JD Phillips to share with us from his wealth of knowledge. He spent his career in service to others, and he is a master speaker, educator, sales trainer, and possesses a unique ability to teach sometimes confusing concepts. Okay, we need your help. Can you just show us how the legs work? Break it down for every one of us here and now so we'll understand. Welcome him. Come on up. Jake. All right.
Thank you very much. Could Nick come to the front? Yes. Of that cosmetics. You know, long ago I learned that friendships and relationships are what it takes to make things work, whether it's in your personal life, your business life, and your community life. Friendships make things work. And sometimes being a friend takes courage. And that's about this business too. You have to have courage to ask people to take a look at something because you think it might be good for them. So before I start anything today, I need to offer a big thank you to my very good close friends, lifetime friends, Steve and Kim Brown, who had the courage to pick the phone up, call me and say, hey, JD, you gotta look at this. Actually, that was in April, and Kim said, JD, you gotta look at this, hurry up, you gotta call back. And so she and Steve, if y'all can stand up, please. And we were lucky enough to see the vision because they had patience and let us kind of kick the tires and wait it out. And we took a few weeks to see things, but then we kind of saw what the mission was here. And the mission here, in our view, is exactly what Antoine Maree says every single week, actually twice a week. Oh, by the way, how was he yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Was that strong? Did y'all think that was strong? Back at home, he said that was strong as a mother's love, young man, which was yesterday. So keep bringing it. But Antoine says not once, but twice a week, and 3 times we go to training. He said, you know, we do 2 things at Cosmetics. We help people save money, and we help people make money. Well, when we learned about that, we knew that it was a home for us. And this is the reason. We have a company we started called How Money Works. And How Money Works is a company that we started because in this country today, the masses are not getting helped. You see, if you take the population, 80% and 20%, 80% make 90 grand or less in income. That means 20% make more. Well, the 80% guaranteed to make more. The problem is nobody's helping. The people with the money get the help. The people with the money, some people have a lot of money, have a lot of power. Some people have power, and some people have greed. But the 80% that aren't making money, they're not getting help. And there's a reason for that. Nobody's taking the time to show them how money works. So let me grab my props here. Left and right. Awesome. So in 2019, we wrote a book, and our book is called How Money Works. Stop Being a Sucker. And what we want to try to do is help the average person walking around today do better, be better, and have more with their money. And the way we do that is not by the financial sales and marketing of product. We do it through education, and we give it away. Give it away for free. As a matter of fact, you're going to learn today through our book and what we're doing, everybody in this room can be served by the information in this book. And that's our mission. You can go to our websites and learn all about it. And the reason for that is this. We have figured out that we help three kinds of people in the world today. People that have no money or little and want to get going and make more. Maybe they need to start saving. Maybe they get in the position to start saving. Then we have people that have made some money and doing well, but they want to do more. And then we help people that have made a lot. Maybe they sold a company. Maybe they got to the retirement number. Maybe they got to where they wanted to be. And now their focus is on how much can I make, but it's how much can I keep. And if you think about that and relate that to at-cost metals and what we're doing with gold and silver and bullion, can you imagine the making, the saving, and the keeping of money, how that correlates? Well, I hope here in the next few minutes you can see how this information can help you, and we'd like to give that all to you today for free too. Is that okay?
Wow.
Our son will be here later today. We have 26-year-old twins, boy-girl twins, and don't freak out. They look like their moms. That's good for all of us, right? But his favorite line is, "Dad, freeze for me, baby, freeze for me." So we're going to let him lead that part. But what I want to talk to you about is our book. How Money Works is a book that was written on the level of an 8th grade student. And that was by design too. Not because we were worried about people that were well advanced in education, because they can read the book in 15 minutes. Anybody can read the book in less than 45. So what can you teach people about money in 45 minutes? Well, you can teach them about the number one crisis in the world today, and that's financial illiteracy. It's crippling our country. It's because people just don't know. Why don't they know? They don't know because they weren't taught in school. The things that we were taught in school had nothing to do with how you should save, compound, and grow money. Well, literacy is all about reading, right? Financial literacy is all about becoming literate with your money. So what we'd like to do is teach people what they didn't teach in school. What could that be? Well, we thought, why don't we start with the 4 or 5 strategies and concepts that all the wealthy people in the world use to get wealthy. Let's use those. Because you see, only 21 out of 50 schools in the country today in high school teach a class on personal finance. That's it. Less than half. So you wonder why people get out of school that go. A lot of people are choosing another route nowadays. Why do they go? Well, they don't know because it's not being taught. Well, the concepts that we have begun to feature in our book have become very, very popular. Currently, the How Money Works book has been seen on television by over 75 million viewers. ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, Wall Street Journal, they've all featured us. We've done over 350 television interviews with this book on TV for free. Why? Because they want the information, because they want it to help the masses. We spent no dollars on advertising, but yet now 100 million people have seen the information in this book. And I think today you should too. And this is why. The concepts that I'm getting ready to share with you, a lot of you will know. This is a group of very, very wise people, and I get that. However, the concepts that you might not know of, or we can show you how to apply a different way, if it causes you to double or triple what you have, begins to make sense. So one of the first concepts we talk about in our book, and you'll notice the book, we have a cast of characters. Our cast of characters, there's 8 of them, and they're all diverse, all ages, sizes, all creeds, colors. Everything is covered by the people in our book, and these are people that are average, trying to get ahead, trying to save, trying to make it work folks. Well, in the book, they begin these conversations between each other. And when they do, they reveal the secrets that you need to know. And if you know it, good. Who have you told? If you don't know it, then grab it and use it to your benefit. So the first concept we talk about is the power of compound interest. And this is Zoe. She's our young lady, just graduated from school. And Zoe says, hey, compound interest, I've heard of that. That's like interest on interest. And that's exactly right. But do you know how powerful it is? Well, it's very powerful when you consider the rate of return that people get on their money. This is a chart that shows if you had $178 and you started saving it. This is Zoe at age 26. She saves at age 66. How much money would Zoe have saving $178 a month? Now, as I go through this, compare everything we're talking about to gold and silver, because it applies directly. And watch. At $178, if you get 1% on your money, by the time you're 66 years old, let's just have a laser on it. I don't want to push it, I'm going to blow it up here. At 1%, you have over $100,000. Okay, that's good. That's not very much. And that's hardly what the banks are paying. Actually, in some cases, it's a little more than the banks are paying. At 3%, it's $179, but look what happens at 9% on your money. Now, you might be saying, JD, where do you get 9%? Well, quite frankly, I'm just using the stock market average over the past 40 years, just as an example. But there's ways that you can begin to save and make money. The trick is understanding the power of the compound. At 9%, it's over $1 million. Now think about that. What's the message? Rate of return matters. Not the rate you make, but the rate you keep. See, people always say, well, JD, in my investments, I made 32%. I say, great. How much of that do you get to keep? Because the tax man hadn't showed up yet, and losses hadn't showed up yet. How do you know what you really make? Wouldn't it be nice to have something hard and solid and real in your hands, in your saves, and everywhere else that you keep things? Just think about what's getting ready to happen right here. The time value of money. If you take the right rate of return and you apply the time value of money to it, then magic happens. Time value of money it's a three-legged stool. It's based on starting now, regardless of your age. I get it. Well, I wish I'd started when I was 22. Well, guess what? If you didn't, you didn't. But if you did, good for you. But it's not too late, because if you save regular on a routine basis and you let time work, it's amazing what can happen. And this is the proof. Here's two characters, Sarah and George, in the book. Sarah says, you know what? I'm going to follow the rules. At 22 years old, Sarah starts saving $4,000 a year. That's $333 a month. And she was consistent. She started at age 22. She saved for 8 years. At age 30, she stopped. Why did she stop? Don't know. Maybe she married a really rich guy. Who knows? Maybe she just started having a family, full-time mom, whatever the case might be. But she stopped. So if you think about that, $4,000 for 8 years, that's $32,000. And then she let that money ride. She let time value of money work. And by the time that she was 67 years old, Sarah had $1.4 million. All she did was save $4,000 a year, $300 a month for 8 years. What's the reason? Because she wanted to become a millionaire. She didn't do that. Well, 1.4 million is a great solution. It's a great answer. It's a victory. But look at here. George, on the other hand, George waited. And George was 22 years old at one time. But he waited. He didn't start saving until he was 30. So he waited 8 years. And then he started. And when George started saving at 30, he saved the exact same amount that Sarah did. $333 a month, $4,000 a year. And George saved it, but not for 8 years. George saved it for 32 years, all the way to age 67. He saved 5 times longer than Sarah. George ended up with $1.3 million, which is good. He broke the 7-figure number. Good for George. But he spent $151,000 of his own money to Sarah's $32,000 because he waited. She got more money. He ended up with $100,000 less because he chose to wait. So why are we waiting to start saving? Why? Time works for all of us the same. We all get the same deal. Everybody's leaving this earth at some point. It's part of the deal. We don't know when or how we go out. We just all know, praise God, the way we're going. And that's the real win. But in the meantime, save. The proof is in the numbers. The longer you wait, the more you must save. At age 20, you want to make $1 million? Save $113 a month. That'll save up $1 million. If you wait till age 40, you have 7 times as much that you have to put in an account to get to the same place. 7 times. And if you wait till like age 55, when half of the country has less than $50,000 in their retirement accounts at age 55, now to hit a number, you got to save almost $4,000 a month. How likely is that to happen? Well, the good news is that cost metals, if you find yourself somewhere on that chart and you're not where you want to be, We at Cross Metals have an answer. Because you might not be able to save up enough after your regular paycheck or income, but what if you could build a small team and leverage and make 2, 3, 4, 5,000 extra a month? So now you're not banking dollars, you're banking the efforts of successful people that you lead to success. We have an answer, and it's backed by gold. Doesn't that kind of sound pretty cool? I know y'all are real ruckus and loud today. Doesn't that sound pretty cool?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in church, man. Let's pass the damn plate. Let's go. This is Zoe. Again, she just inherited $10,000. She's excited, but she's going to save the money. So she says, I'm going to stick my money in an account, and let's see how many times I can get my money to double. Well, she sticks it in the bank at 1%, and she gets one double. That ain't too good. If you notice at 6%, Zoe gets 12 doubles on her money. That's pretty good. She ends up with $160,000 off of her $10,000. But look what happens at 12%. The slide kind of cuts it, but I'll tell you, at 12%, you would think at 6%, if you double the rate of interest to 12%, and she got 160, she would get 320 at 12%. But that's not the case. She gets 2.5 million at 12%. So the percentage is double, but what she gets is double the doubles. And that's exactly how at-cost metals works. That's exactly how our binary structure works. Do you realize if the binary structure, if no one bought a $3.99 metals package, which everybody should do that, because you get the cash, you get the goods with it. But if they just bought a $149 package, got on the coin of the month, and all they did was bring 2 people to the table. You show up, you get your membership, you bring your 2, John and Mary, and you do nothing but help John and Mary get their 2. At the end of 1 year, you're going to have over 8,000 people on your team. 4,000 on your left, 4,000 on your right. If nobody's buying big memberships, they're just buying coin of the month. You know what the income on that is? In 6 months, you got a $500 guaranteed monthly income. And all you did was bring 2 people and help them bring their 2. That's all you did. But at the end of the year, you know what the income goes to? 40,000 a month. How many did you bring? 2. How many did they bring? Goodness, what if you brought more? It's all about the power of doubling. And you want to know how that works? It's called the rule of 72. The rule of 72, a lot of you know. But if you don't, and I'll tell you a quick story. My son went to Ole Miss, and he started out in finance and ended up in marketing. So you can see what happened to him along the way. He got smart, right? But his 3rd level econ teacher, he called me one day and said, hey, Dad, I think I'm going to ask my teacher if she knows about the rule of 72. I said, well, son, don't ask her in class, because you might embarrass her, you might get an F. Ask her after. Now, this is a tenured college professor. After class, he walks up and says, listen, I'm doing a little work with this doubling and this rule of 72. Can you help me with that? You know what she told me? Let me get back with you that next week. You know why? She needed to go study it. But if you understand this rule, it will lead you to success with your money and your business every single time. It will not fail. And here's what you need to know. You need to know about it so the banks can't do to you what you do for yourself. And this is the example. The rule of 72 is just a simple mental math shortcut. It says, hey, divide any number into 72, and that will tell you how fast your money will double. So if I make 1% of my money at your local bank, here's how that works. You walk into your bank. You say, here's my dollar, and you get your deposit slip. And say, thank you. We'll see you next week. As a matter of fact, you come back here on this day, 72 years from now, we're going to give you $2. Does that sound like a good deal? Yeah, been there, done that, right? That's it. Now, oh, and by the way, it doesn't get better, it gets worse. Because look, if I stay at 1%, that's 72 years to double. But as we've learned already, if you can get a high percentage rate, your doubles go faster. Well, I'm not talking anymore just about doubling your money. I'm talking about doubling your organization. We already know if you bring 2 people and then turn into just a coach and help those 2 get their 2, at the end of 1 year, you have 8,000 people in your group, 4,000 each side. And so what if you miss it and only get 10% of that? Think about that. In 12 months, your life could change. In 6 months, you have consistent income. All by applying the rule of doubling. But here's what people don't get. $10 trillion right now are sitting in bank accounts. And I think that number's low because this slide's old. 10 trillion with a T. And you know what the average account's paying? 0.09% at the bank. Now we already know what 1% does, right? So 0.09, by the way, is a little bit less than 1%. So you know it's not going to be better. So does anybody in here want to guess how long it takes your money to double at 0.09? Now 1% is 72, so 0.09, any guesses? 8. 32. And one more.
800.
800. 800 years to double. 800 years to double. Now here's the point. By 2823, when we're not here, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren will show up and say, hey, can I get that $1 that my granddaddy put in here years ago to get my $2? But wait, this is like Ronco. Wait, there's more. Oh, it gets great. Now watch. The bank then turns around to the person behind you and says, hey, have you checked out our brand new credit card offer we have today? Let us get you one of those. They charge 21.3% on a credit card. That means they double their money every 3.5 years. Let's go to the bank. You get 800 on yours, we get 3.5 on ours. Now here's the real proof in the whole story. Everybody that's been in a bank, have you ever been in a bank where there's a bowl, maybe a glass or plastic bowl up beside the counter where you put your money in and out? Anybody ever been there? What's in the bowl? Lollipops. Suckers. Suckers. They say, hey, thanks for that $1. Take one. Heck, take 2 and we'll see you tomorrow anyway. Do you understand now why we got a big sucker on the front of the book? But no, in my bank in North Carolina, they are like in your face. Because in my bank, they don't have suckers in their book. They have dum-dums. Just go ahead, JD, take yourself a couple of those. Thanks for stopping by. And you know, we did some fact checking. And do you understand that the same company that makes dum-dums also makes Smarties? That's a fact. So we have a new tagline on how money works. We say, look, if you want to move from a dum-dum to a Smartie, read the book. Let's go. Now, I know that a lot of you probably saw this chart. Let me back up one second. And this is a list of banks and a list of an article. And we have the articles, and we can get these to you, by the way. The reason you need to know about the article is this. This article was written by CNBC, which is probably not my favorite network, but they wrote the article, so we have to let that be. But you know why they wrote it? In February of 2020, right after we released the book in 2019 in December, they called us. They called us out. They had read the book and said it was BS. We were misrepresenting numbers, and we could not publish it, take them all off. We said, really? Well, here's the books. You fact check it. They fact checked it. Those lists of the banks, Bank of America, BB&T, Citibank, PNC, SunTrust, T&D, Wells Fargo, all the rest of them. That's their numbers. That's not our numbers. And guess what happened? After they did that, they wrote the article and published it. And it came out in the Wall Street Journal. They fact-checked our book, and we proved by the math that we're telling the truth, because that's what America needs to know.
Right.
You need to know the truth, and it needs to be told all over this land, because people need to be protected. And the way you protect them is you don't sell them stuff. You help them save. And you help them earn. That's how you protect them. Now, I won't go through all these today in just the interest of time, but I will say this. The back half of our book is called The 7 Money Milestones. After we share concepts, then we go into the exact financial roadmap that you need to follow that'll get you secure, and it'll get you free, and it'll get you settled. And those 7 money milestones are right here. They are financial education. You're getting some of that today because everybody in here, if you like a book, don't go to Amazon and pay $20. I'd like to give you one. Number 2, that's free for me. That's the first thing they clapped at, though. Was that? I think that's pretty good. Number 2, proper protection. You got to protect against your income and you got to protect against your savings. How do you do that? We teach that. We teach how to build an emergency fund. What happens when your car breaks down and it's 2:30 at night? Do you understand that most Americans today don't have $400 liquid that they can solve an emergency with? Well, let's get that fixed. How about debt management? You know what? Debt has this thing about it. It has interest. If we're not making interest for us, guess what interest does? It works against us. So let's flip that. How many people have a subscription on your phone that you don't remember at $9.99 a month? You got 1, 2, or 10 of those? Oh, JD, that's not much money. No, $10 a month for 12 months, that's $120. Compound it out, costs you about, I don't know, $3,000 over the next 10 years to have an app you never use. Gee whiz, I wonder if she thinks that. Cash flow. We talk about cash flow in our book. How do you improve your cash flow? You manage your expenses, and this says right here on the chart, earn additional income. Well, how do I do that? I'm retired. Do I go be the greeter at Walmart? Yeah, that's an option. Do I drive Uber? That's an option. I wonder if there was a way I could earn some income by being nice to people. Well, I got an idea. I have this really cool service that I happen to own a membership in. It's called Half Cost Metals. Why don't I go tell 2 of my people that I love, know, and care about that? And by doing that, they could be better in their life, and I get paid for helping them understand. Would that be additional income? It could be $500, $1,000 a month. That could take a lot of pressure off a lot of people. It could be $500, $1,000 a week. It could be more. The good news is you can decide, and you can act on it or not. But you can't say you can't do it. Because if you can literally utter words and point and hand somebody a piece of gold or silver, you can be in your own business. And guess what? It won't be a business by yourself because you had everybody in this room pulling for you, but you're on business for yourself. And last but not least, build wealth. If you're going to build it, you got to protect it. We teach people all about the 3 ways you can tax. I don't know if you know those. Tax now, which is like the farmer and the harvest. Think about it. If we were all going to get together and go out here in Texas and plant us a big field of corn, and all of us got together and they gave us 10,000 pounds of seed to go plant, they said, here's the deal, here's the seed, here's the cost. Got to pay tax on that seed today. So I don't know if I want to do that. Well, the other option is you can plant your seed, let it grow, we'll go harvest the 2,000 acres of corn, and we'll get to pay the tax on the weight of the corn. Which one are you going to do? Pay on the seed. We show people how to tax on the seed, not the harvest. Tax later, well, if you can defer it, maybe pay it later, and we can show you exactly how that works. And how about tax never? Is that a good one? It's more like free from me. I'm beginning to get the theme of this crowd. That's kind of what y'all are all about. So what I want to do now is stop. I'm going to stop at this point because the rest of this is something that you can learn when you read it. What I am going to pass out is something that looks like this. I'm going to pass out a little evaluation because I'd like to get feedback from all of you on what this information did. Did it impact you? Did it not? Do you want to know more or do you not? At the back table on the left, at lunch break and throughout the rest of the day, please stop by. Hand me your evaluation form, pick up your free book. We want your feedback and we want your all your information that you might want to have if you need us to send a book to somebody that you know or you like another one yourself. So those will be passed across the room this way. And then before I get off the stage, I never like to come talk to any crowd unless we give away something. So it's okay, we're going to give everybody here a book. Is it okay if we give away a little money? Now, as Antoine would say, now look, this is fiat that I'm getting ready to give out. Now you got to exchange it for gold on your own. Right? I can't do that from right here. But does anybody here play cards? Somebody said at dinner last night they're going to Vegas. Play cards? Y'all play cards? Okay. Don't be scared. I'm not the law. Don't worry. So let's just play a little game. You play cards. How many, let's see, how many suits are on a deck? 4. Anybody else play cards? Of the 4 suits, do you know the names of them? That's right. Hearts, diamond, clubs, and spades. Pick 2 of those. Spades and hearts. You take spades and hearts. Okay, she leaves out clubs and diamonds, right? Out of clubs and diamonds, pick 1. Diamonds. Diamonds are, they're forever too. All right, so if we think about the diamonds in the deck of cards, you got 3 groups. Low, which is 2 through 6, and then medium would be 7 through 10, and high would be jack through ace. So out of low, medium, and high, pick, let's see, I'll go here. Pick 2 of those, low, medium, or high. Medium, got a medium, got a low, and out of that leaves low and high. Out of low and high, somebody pick 1.
High.
High. So we got the high diamonds. We got jack, queen, king, and ace. Out of those 4, Antoine picked 2 of those. Jack, queen, king, or ace of diamonds.
Ace. A diamond.
Ace of diamonds, and what's the other one? Pick 2.
King.
Ace and king. Ace, king. So at ace and king, you heard what he said first, right? Ace of diamonds. Okay. So we're going, for the rest of the day, we'll let the ace of diamonds be the kind of the star of the show. So, with that in mind, oh, here they are. Thought Bo stole the catch. I got 3 envelopes. Let's have a little quiz. So just raise your hand if you can tell me at 6%, how quick does your money double? Back in the back. 12 years. If somebody will take this envelope and run that back to him. So, thank you, Antoine. Don't open it yet. We're getting ready to have some real fun. Okay, second question. If you started saving money at 20 and you saved for 10 years and stopped, but I started saving money at that time and saved for 30 years, and we saved the same amount, who would have the most? Person A or person B? Right there. My golf cart, right there. The young one. That guy's an incredible golfer, y'all. He was so patient with me yesterday. I was hacking, duffing around the course. And the last one I got for you is this. How many people thought this was like the greatest class you ever saw? I only have 1 envelope, but you raise your hand first or you come on up. All right, we got 3 envelopes. Okay, don't open them. Don't open them, they'll blow up. All right. So whenever you're in a situation and you're learning how money works, you want to protect your money. So what we have here is, I'm going to buy what's inside the envelope back from you. Okay? Inside your envelope, there's a card, playing card, inside all 3 of those envelopes. Now, there's going to be 2 jokers, and I'm going to pay you $10 for a joker. But there's one card in there, maybe what's the card of the day? Ace of diamonds, that y'all pick, that's in one of those envelopes. And I'm paying $50 for the ace of diamonds. And the likelihood, of course, is that it's not there. Because how could that be? Y'all picked it, I didn't. And I don't want to lose my $50. So, on the count of 3, I want you to open them. But before you do that, do any of the 3 of you want to trade envelopes? You get $5 for a joker. You get $50 if it's the ace of diamonds. If it's the ace of diamonds, which is probably not. Anybody trading?
Yeah, I know he said 10.
Oh, that's right, 10 for a joker. That was a joke. Nobody's trading. You guys good? The 3 people have envelopes, but they want to trade among themselves. Thank you. I didn't make that clear. Okay. On the count of 3, open them and let me hear what you got. Open your envelope and tell me what the card says. There's no way there's an ace. How'd y'all do that? What we got? Call them out. Joker. Ace of diamonds. Congratulations. So come on up here and get your cash. And I'm not happy about that card. How'd y'all get the ace of diamonds? How'd you do that? Antoine? You were my friend till today. You owe me $50, dude.
Everybody think I'm in on it.
Right.
So with that, what I'd like to do is say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And let me offer you one more thing. You gave me something today that you can never get back. And that's about 45 minutes of your time. And I'm grateful for it, and I hope I didn't waste it. And I hope I can give you a whole lot more. We'll be at the table all day today. Come by, turn in your evaluation, get your book, and God bless you. And thank you for letting us be part of that.
Great job. Well, the congregation that was asleep awoke. What do you think?
Yeah.
Can you give him a thank you again and let him know we appreciate him? And you know, he's giving away free, but it's not free for him. There's always a price behind free, so we're very thankful. Great job, Jimmy. All right, let's keep the momentum going. Next up, Todd Ganofsky. Did I say it right? Wherever he is, Todd. Ganofsky, come on up. Todd has been a professional connector and motivator of people. He's also a seasoned minister and musician. And if you have been on our Zoom calls, you have seen Todd. He does a fantastic job. Let's welcome him from Florida today.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
All right, Todd's going to help me do something real quick before his presentation. I got something so special. Todd's going to describe it for us.
Pretty special. Should I describe it?
Go ahead.
It's round. It's silver. It's not aluminum foil. It says at cost metals LL. At cost metals.
It's beautiful. It's a semi-proof. It's got our logo on it. In the back is our logo several times over. And we're about to give it away right now. And this will be the very first customer or affiliate to have an at-cost coin. Absolutely. All right. So I need help. Terry, that was my pen, not the coin. I'm going to ask you to just write down a number 0 through 10. You got it? All right. You can write down a number 0 through 10. 65. That's the number. They didn't know it. I like to keep things simple, guys. The 65th person going like this is going to get this coin. That's it. That's the giveaway. That's how we do it. What do we got? 4? 13, 16, 18. Everybody's sitting down. Everybody do the math. 18, 22, 27, 31. $60, $61, $62, $63, $64, $65. There we go. Oh, you were sitting down. That would have been you. Anything you want to say? All right. That's funny. Did you get that on camera? That's hilarious. Hey, you know what? Right place at the right time. All right. That's as close as you can get. Right place at the right time. All right. My good friend, you know what? I'm going to let him tell this story. And you know what? You come across friends in your life at unexpected times. And I don't remember which day of the week it was, but I remember getting a phone call. Cowboy Jeff said, hey, I got a good guy I need you to talk to. He's going to ask you the tough questions you're going to get asked. And I said, yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. And that phone call was with Todd. And when I tell you it started a tidal wave in a good way, it truly did. So Todd Ganoski, welcome to the stage, sir. Thank you.
My wife is the, it's appropriate that my wife Jody would be the lady in the chair doing the clicking. And JD, I love you so much, brother. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Honey, thank you. Everybody knows my wife Jody here on our team, that without Jody, every question you asked me would have gone up to Cowboy. So you should thank Jody too. So Jody has been so much of the glue and the substance that's held us together. So my name is Todd Ganoski. If you land the V, just kind of ski right off the backside. That's my lovely wife, Jody. You can tell I'm a good salesman because you look at her and you know I have to do a sales job to get that gig. So anyhow, honey, thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to be with you today. And am I blocking? All right, let me get out of the way. All right, good. It is an honor. Let me tell the story real quickly, going back to my friend. I can honestly say, JD has become a dear and precious friend. Cowboy, you have become a dear and precious friend. And I get a little emotional. I feel weepy because, you know, seeing some of you like Sam Skaggs and Todd Bell on my team and a few others, Dr. Joseph Humidi, I hadn't seen you in 15, 20 years. And to get to hug your neck and see you is a beautiful thing. One of the things I love about network marketing, just to connect with people, find out where the connective tissue is and how this person knows that person. There's so much fun. There's so much joy in that. Others of you, like Cowboy, I've spoken to 1,000 times. I've done more three-way calls. Cowboy paid me the greatest compliment early on in the business that anybody could have possibly paid me. On a national call, he said, Todd Ganoski has put me on more three-way calls than any person in this company combined. Now, what does that say? Does it say I'm lazy or I'm smart? Yes. So I want to talk about how to blow up your business and just some simple things that have worked. I've seen so much of what doesn't work, but I want to start out today by talking about belief. Now, these notes are not in my PowerPoint. I woke up with these notes on my heart this morning. And I'm just going to read a few things and I'll jump into the notes. Make a few statements. Faith and fear are both contagious. You often find in the family of faith these family members: love, life, hope, confidence, security, favor, blessing, and happiness. You find those as family members that hang out in the realm of faith. In the realm of fear, you have a different gang of friends. Fear hangs out with doubt. Fear hangs out with unbelief. Fear hangs out with worry. Fear hangs out with control, because then we start to try to control things because of the fear, which then leads to anger when you can't control. And even Yoda told us what happens. Fear leads to control. Control leads to anger. Anger leads to the dark side. I didn't intend to do that, sorry. It's just my multiple personalities coming out. But there's so much truth in that. Fear leads to doubt, unbelief, worry, anxiety, control, anger, insecurity. It can even lead to violence. The root of almost all violence we have is based on, I got hurt, I try to control something, I can't control it, so I get angry, so I hurt somebody else. And so why am I saying all this? Because if you don't believe, everything that we're doing begins with belief. Even the Bible says without faith, it is impossible to please God. Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the substance of hope. What is the relationship between faith and hope? Hope is the future element of faith. Hope is the future element. I'm going to read you this statement, then we're going to jump into notes. This is a big one. Hope is the future element of faith, anchored in the character and nature of a loving God who would rather die for you than live without you. End of sermon. Now I'm going to segue into why I said all that. Because if you don't believe, you will fail.
Amen.
If you don't believe, you've already failed. Success begins with belief. If you don't believe, you need to get around somebody who does. And because I said fear and faith are contagious. Cowboy Jeff McFatridge, contagious belief. Why? Because he had hope in the character and nature of God, but also in the character and nature of JD, Justin Davis, our owner. He saw something, he met with him, he grilled him up and flipped him over and grilled him on the other side. And he said, I have been burned just like you have, Todd. And just like so many of you have gone down a path and you're so afraid to believe because the rug's been pulled out from under you so many times. Hello? Been there, done that. Didn't want to do it again. I didn't want to talk to Cowboy Jeff when Dr. Georgia reached out to Jody. I'll tell you a quick story, then my notes won't take long. But this would happen. Jody and I'll just tell you, I felt like God knocked on every door of my house to get my attention about gold, silver, precious metals. And like many of you, I didn't want to do it. I had a resistance against gold, silver, and precious metals. It just didn't sound exciting to me. I was in infinite banking and some of the stuff that we just heard. I was into that world, rapid money growth and DeFi and crypto, and then everything went. And I got to the end of my hope rope, and I was ready to listen. So God knocked on every door of my house. He finally knocked on my forehead, and he said, wake up. Wake up, young man, I'm talking about gold, silver, precious metals. So I jumped in to a company because somebody had been driving me crazy to join this other company that will remain unnamed. I'm a pretty good salesman, although I don't really call myself a salesman. I'm a swordsman. I'm a networker. I connect people to people, people to products. I finally yielded. I jumped into this company. I called a number of people, and I felt like I was rowing a rowboat up the Niagara River. I mean, gold, silver, precious metals, and I can't sell this. And I get real depressed if I can't win. Like, I thought God said do it. I jumped in. You've been there before? Thought he said do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sell it. My wife and I canceled a meeting with a gentleman who was maxed out the comp plan of that other company, which isn't anywhere close to our comp plan, by the way. I never cancel a meeting like that, but I had joined, paid the money, joined the company, and for a day we tried to sell it, we couldn't sell it. Next thing I knew, I canceled the meeting with this gentleman. I said, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. I don't usually do this. I need a minute. My wife and I go out, and we have a coffee, and we both realized we had phone calls from two different people in our network. One was Dr. Georgia telling us we have to meet this guy named Cowboy. Another one was another person in my network. Same day, two different calls at Cost Metals, this new company. I'm like, I don't even want to research another company because I don't even want to be in gold, silver, precious metals. I'm just being honest. I didn't want to. I was resistant, but I felt like something's going on here. I said, all right, I'll talk to this guy, Cowboy. I didn't want to talk to a guy named Cowboy. Sorry, you know how much I love you. I can get away with this because you know that I absolutely love. I run in front of traffic for him. I get on the phone. I remember sitting at the table. Jody calls Dr. Georgia, who's back there. She gets Cowboy in the line. I have the worst attitude. Within 3 minutes, I mute the phone. I look at my wife. I said, I'm sorry. he's awesome. I love him. I literally go, I love him. I love this guy. Why? Because the faith stuff in my being was resonating with something coming out. I feel him. Whoa, faith man. Something exploded inside of me, but I was still terrified. And I heard truth come out of him. And I heard Jesus come out. I just heard the real deal. I'm like, I like him. I don't know about this JD guy, though. So next thing I know, I'm on the phone with JD. And let me tell you about JD, and then part of my belief is rooted in the character of whom I'm working with.
Come on.
Why am I here? I believe in these men. JD, Troy, Cowboy, other leaders in this company. Antoine, you crushed it last night, by the way. Crushed it last night. Stan, great job. Everybody, JD, you just spoke. Everything's been great. Belief, something activated in me. Now, here's the thing. We're so conditioned. Is it too good to be true, or is it too good not to do? We've been trained. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I didn't believe right away that we had the best price on gold, silver, precious metals. I learned very quickly that JD was the architect of the software behind the other company, which didn't discourage me. That made me go, oh, he can do this. He's done it before. He can pull this off. So my faithometer went up. I went, okay, all right. And then I talked to him. And what I heard in this man was the most humble, intelligent, transparent. The word that always comes to me is meek. Meek does not mean weak. Meek means a mighty, powerful war horse that's been brought under control, the right kind of control, that's yielded to a higher source. I saw this in this man. That this man's brilliant. He's a genius, and he's humble, and he's not a highfalutin, fast talking. He listened. Cowboy and I have been on 80 phone calls with JD, and there have been times Cowboy has said, I flat out wanted to go cowboy on that guy, the way he was talking to JD. And JD just is so kind, and humble.
That's right.
Integrity. Yeah. I can sign up for that. I still didn't believe that we could get gold, silver, precious metals cheaper, as Cowboy says, cheaper than anybody on the planet, guaranteed. I didn't believe it. So I made a few phone calls. I made my first phone call to my brother, who's a big-time medical sales guy. Are you into gold, silver, precious metals at all? He says, nope. I went, oh, great. This can be fun. Called my second guy. Literally, I'm like, here we go. Because you got to press through that stuff, right? Let's get real. I'm not Superman, because I got to press through the same fear. When I called Sam, I was afraid. When I called Todd Bell, I was afraid. I hadn't talked to these guys in 15 years. You got to punch fear in the face, step up in your faith, and go. If you don't go, you won't know. Okay? If you don't go, thank you. I'm so glad. There's a reward for stepping through. So I called my second person after my brother shot me down. And I said, Chris, I call this guy the nuclear submarine. He's a very meek person like JD, but very connected. Chris, are you into gold, silver, precious metals at all? Yeah. Shields. He says, absolutely. And so does everybody in my network. I went, yes, I win. You see, it's kind of a game. You just got to keep going. You don't get punched in the mouth and, Mike Tyson's line, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Well, guess what? I'm a Rocky fan. Yo, Adrian. Go through him, Rock. You're a 200-pound greasy fast, that's how you take. Go through him. Rocky takes a licking. He gets knocked down. He gets pummeled. He gets trashed. And he gets up and he won't quit. That's why we love him. He's the overcomer. He's the picture that the Bible calls the overcomer, the one who gets the prize. It's not the one who gives up and quits that wins. It's the one who gets back up and keeps moving forward. Listen, he quoted the Church of Rocky Balboa. Sorry, but I love it. I came out of a movie theater crying in one of the worst seasons of my life because I watched Rocky 6 when he's kind of old and he tells his son, listen, son, life ain't all about sunshine and rainbows. Your life will beat you down and keep you there if you let it. It'll keep you on the ground. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get back up and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. You don't quit. You don't quit. If you don't quit, you win. Yes. God put that in you. Agree with it. That's who you're supposed to be. And if you don't have it, get around somebody who's like that. It's contagious. It'll get on you. It'll get on you. Now, you have to have integrity. See, hope's got to be rooted in the integrity of something. We have integrity as the foundation. JD said it last night. I've said it. Everything that man said he would do a year ago, he's done. Now, did it happen overnight? Nope. They said Christmas. I went, no way they're going to have this all by Christmas. But guess what? When I got tired in January of waiting, a friend of mine kept going. His name's Cowboy. So when the first paycheck came, he got $30,000. Why? Because he believed more than I did. That was his reward for believing. Not because he's a great salesman. He's incredibly intelligent. He says, I can't spell good, but I'm real good at math. That's what he always tells me. But he's indomitable. He won't quit. And he kept going because he believed in the integrity and the character of the builder. And he said, this is going to work. This is going to happen. Come on. Now, I quit for a couple months. I didn't quit. I didn't tell anybody that. I just backed off because of, hope. What's it called? Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a promise fulfilled is like a tree of life. Jody, let's go next. Let's jump into this now. How many minutes do I have left? 3? Huh? -3, she said. This will be fast, okay? This will be fast. I heard somebody say this about a month ago. I needed to hear this because I had fallen into some of the pitfalls of what I'm about to tell you here. This is one of the most successful network marketers in a particular business. He's a coach in Alabama, so humble. And they said, what's the secret of your success? How are you winning? You're replicating, duplicating, your group's growing up, you're a full-time coach, you do all. And this is what he said. He calls these the 4 stages of where you are in your business. Now, this can apply to any business. It can apply to this business. It can apply to a Planet Church. This is just I believe, just penetrating truth. So stage 1. We call this what we all try to do when we find something good, is explain the opportunity. Now, first of all, I just want to say, keep it simple. I'm not going to take much time here on this, but phase 1 is always telling people and broadening your reach, letting as many people know. Okay, broaden. Yeah, go ahead, babe. Just go ahead and fire there so I can remind myself of what I said here earlier. You want to broaden your reach. If you don't go, you won't know mentality. Run your system. That may be 3-way calls. It may be Zooms. It may be social media. But you're going to identify buyers and you're going to identify builders. Okay, this is stage 1. Explain. Don't overdo this. 3-way calls. Cowboy and I, every leader that we brought in with a 3-way call. Not because I don't know the answers, but there's just something about a 3-way call. I mean, it's just the guy from out of town with a briefcase who may not know more than you, but the other person thinks they do because prophets without honor in their own hometown. So bring them somebody from out of town to tell them the same thing you've been telling them, and somehow they magically listen. It's just amazing how it really works. Keep this so simple. Hey, how you doing, Todd Bell? Been a long time, blah, 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 blah. Man, been 15 years. I guess you're wondering why I'm calling you out of the blue. I know you know I'm offering you something. He's waiting for what's he got. What's he got? But the first question is so disarming. Are you into gold, silver, precious metals at all? Question mark. Pause. Awkward pause. Are you into it at all? Are you into it like these other people? That's kind of your thing. Somebody says, nope. I don't have the energy to convince them. I learned that quickly. I'm like, hey, great talking with you. I do the takeaway immediately. What are you going for? No, probably not for you. Sometimes they come in, sometimes they don't. But if that person says, yes, I am into gold, silver, precious metals, my next question is immediately, who's your source? How much? Who? I want to know, like, where you get your stuff? Because I have an ace. We just talked about the ace of diamonds. I have the ace of diamonds up my sleeve. Here it is. No matter what they say, I have hashtag belief right here that I can get you the exact same thing you're paying for significantly less money, substantially less, either at cost or substantially less than what you're paying? Are you open to that conversation? Are you into gold and silver, precious metals? Where do you get it? Are you open to me getting you a better deal? Period. Zip it right there. That fish bites, you get them on a three-way call with somebody. Say, let me get you to somebody who knows the owner. Don't oversell it. Don't kill your sale. The hardest thing to do is to humble yourself and get somebody else on the phone. Sorry, man. Thank you. So that's number one. Keep doing that. Stay in that place. Cowboy's line is if I showed you where you could buy gold, silver, precious metals cheaper anywhere on the planet, sorry, Cowboy. He just cuts right through it. He says it differently, but it gets the point across. You can't beat us. When the belief in your heart lands that you cannot beat us, you kind of become like a tank. Because a man with an experience or a woman with an experience is never at the mercy of a person with an argument. You win every argument. You have an experience that cannot be taken away from you. Now, if they're not smart enough to go search out your experience, that's on them. It's not on you. But if they are smart enough, you get them over to look at some prices, you get them on a three-way call. All roads lead to a three-way call, right, Cowboy? All roads to a three-way call. Okay, that's number one. Explain. I'll call it create and build. 60% of your time needs to stay there. Number two, Jody. Thank you, babe. Train. Go ahead and open that whole thing up. Thanks, babe. Coach, equip, manage 40% of your time. Weekly Zoom calls, sharing training tools. Do what I do, make what I make. Thank you, Todd Bell. Do what I do, make what I make. Do what I do. What do? I get people on three-way calls. Can you do that? You will win. It's so easy. Just get them on a three-way call. Make that happen. Warning. Keep this phase of management in balance with stage one, or you can become a victim of stagnation, the enemy of momentum. Almost done here. I'm going to move quickly. Now that sounds, I'd rather manage and train and recruit your people than recruit mine. Right?
One more time. Say that one more time.
I'd rather manage, train, and equip your people than recruit mine. But guess what? If I say do what I do, make what I make, and I stop recruiting, then eventually, guess what? You're going to stop recruiting, and then the next person stops recruiting, and all of a sudden, when somebody does spin out and fall into phase three, we'll get to in a second, and you're like, I can't motivate that person, then your momentum dies, and your business starts dying. This gentleman who's a rock star in network marketing said, you got to spend 60% of your time in number one. 60%. Never stop broadening your reach. Keep it going. Broaden your reach. Always. I called two of my best builders 6 months into my business. I sat around all day, feel sorry for me, at a hotel staring at emerald green blue waters and white sand. Now, my right side had taken off. My left side wasn't producing. I was frustrated. I wanted to complain. And I came real close to getting real frustrated at that. I had a choice to make. I didn't want to lock back into recruiting mode, but for 2 or 3 days, I went through all my Facebook contacts. I'm like, who am I missing, Lord? Who am I missing, Lord? I prayed as I scrolled. Who am I missing? Todd Bell was highlighted. Sam Skaggs, the day before Father's Day. I'm sitting on the edge of my dock and literally like, God help me stay in faith. I need a leader on that side. That afternoon, I called Sam Skaggs. Really didn't think he'd be open. He was so wide open. The next thing I know, he's on the phone with Cowboy and then JD and then Sam's, and he's become one of my absolute most solid, steady builders. A couple days later, Todd Bell comes in. He's got hemp here with him. Sam, you've got, I can name your guys, but Dr. Joseph and just people that I've known and some people that I didn't know from Virginia Beach that are just awesome. Just awesome. Because I didn't stop recruiting. You see, I couldn't manage people that didn't want to be managed. Some of those people were losing energy, and you can't. My mentor, go to the next one, babe, please. Keep going all the way down. Yeah, this is what happens when you lose momentum. You become a defender of the non-growth. This is the beginning of the death of your business if you don't pull up. That's when the airplane alarm goes, pull up, pull up, because that begins the descent that you don't want right there. There's the excuses. It's Thanksgiving. It's Christmas. People don't have time. It's summer vacation. People don't have money. I don't know anyone. I've called everyone I know. Okay, you don't. Yeah, everybody's felt that. Let's continue here. So we got stage one is you explain. Stage two is you train. 60% in recruiting. Some of you don't want to hear that, but I'm telling you that's where the lifeblood is. That's what brings life to your business and momentum. Number two is you manage, you train. Number three, don't complain. Don't defend the non-growth, because when you do, it can easily lead to phase four. This is the blame game, justifying your failure. The website isn't perfect. Customer service isn't fast enough. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. So-and-so isn't doing their job. Things get toxic in this stage. This is the stage where people usually quit. You can stay out of that by going back. Go back up. Go to the next slide. Honey, I don't even know what I put on there. Almost done. Conclusion. Success. Number one, before any of this, you have to believe. Do you believe we have the best price of gold and silver anywhere on the planet? Somebody might beat us for 1 minute on a flash sale, but they'll go out of business if they stay there. Do you have the belief that we have the substance to save people money, to help people? Do you believe in the integrity of JD and the leadership in Troy?
Yes.
Do you believe it?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Amen. I'm all in. I'm all in on these guys. I'd rather a slow wave that goes for 5, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 30 years.
Come on.
Then these DeFi things, I jump in, I was like, cowabunga, dude. Next thing you know, crash on the coral and you're shredded and you're apologizing to everybody because you did it again. You accidentally let it something where they lost money. This thing is rock solid, folks. Rock solid. We have the foundation for this to explode. My mentor years ago said, you have to work with the willing. He said, well, Todd, you can't push a rope. That's Gene Harris, by the way, guys, Virginia guys that know him. He said, you can't push a rope, you can't nail Jell-O to a tree, and you can't herd cats. I mean, it's just nail Jell-O to a tree is funny to me. Pushing a rope, you ever try to push a rope, it doesn't work. You have to find the willing. If the people you brought in have fallen into phase 3 and phase 4, don't give up on them. They're your bonus people. Go find a whole new group of willing people. Hit the reset button. Find the willing that are unjaded, that are full of faith, that are full of belief, and your momentum will return to your business. If you explain, train, stay there. Keep explaining, keep training, keep explaining, keep training. Don't complain. Resist that. That's the friends of fear right there. Faith says explain and train. Fear says complain and blame. Okay? You will win the game. Momentum is contagious. So is negativity. I am so honored to be a part of this. JD, thank you for everything. Thank you for all your time, your sacrifice, your humility. Just a great blessing. I'm honored to work with all of you. God bless you. And Cowboy, thank you for everything.
Thank you, Todd. Wow, we've got a lot of preachers in the house, and I'm one of them. So you just stirred me up there. I have a lot of messages from your message today. I want to just, before, of course, Jeff McPatridge, who needs no introduction, just look at the big cowboy hat, you know Jeff. But I want to just share just for a few moments how I met Jeff. So my friend Jackie, right here, I was hosting a Good Friday service in this very ballroom, actually, without that wall. We just have a huge Good Friday service every year. And I had just finished the service, so I think I was getting ready for it. It was in April, and she says, hey, you got to get into this thing. It's gold and silver. I said, what? Okay, fine. She calls me back. She texts me, Jackie will not stop. And so she's persistent, one of the most persistent people I know. I said, Jackie, I am studying to prepare for this service. I cannot listen to gold and silver right now. Well, I'm telling you, if you don't get it, I said, here's my credit card. Sign me up. I'll deal with it after the service. $3.99. Okay, fine. And so after the service is when I really started looking into it, still didn't know much. And she said, you gotta meet this guy, Jeff. Who is this guy, cowboy? Okay, he's a real cowboy or is he just a cowboy? And so she tells me, and so I think I talked to him on the phone once. I said, listen, I've got some guests. It was after the Good Friday service. People were at my house. I said, why don't you just come over and explain all of this? I don't want to do a phone call. Just come over. He shows up to the door, cowboy hat, like jeans, boots. I'm like, maybe this guy's a real cowboy. So when I heard him speak, I was sold. Anyway, Jeff was great, and he explained everything, and I really didn't know if he would be there. He said, if you just tell somebody, I'll get him on the phone. I said, you're really going to be on the phone. And I tested him, and he was.
Yes.
So that's how it started for me. And as a minister, we have a big base, and I thought, I don't know if I have time to do this, three-way call all the time, which is great. It works for a lot of people. But for me, I thought, how can I set a bunch of people on a call? So I sent an email out to some of our base. I thought, let me just test the waters. What creative way can I do this? So, and you guys can use this. I'm giving it to you free for your friends. What I did is I carved an email and I put in the subject line, emergency prep. Because everybody's all about emergencies, right? Everybody's a prepper now. We don't know what's going to happen. Look at the economy in our nation, where we're going. So in that email, I just said, listen, I'm going to be having a call this time, this date. And we have a gentleman I'd like to introduce to you that's going to give us some ways that we can be ready for in case of emergency strikes our nation, food, water, flashlights, all of these things. So I listed it out, and then I put gold and silver. So we had a lot of people sign up and check us on the call. It was pretty great to have all of these people on the call, and he just went through it, and he and I talked through one at a time. And you know what I did? I got the website for the food, right? The water, the little straws, the filtration, the rapid radios. I mean, we had all the websites and went through each one of them. And Jeff is very knowledgeable on this. And then we got to the gold and silver. And then we really got into it. And we had so many people sign up that night. I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but you can use my idea, maybe email this to your friends. Most people that may be skeptical about a gold and silver opportunity won't be if it's an emergency prep opportunity. Trust me, you can get them like that. So that was just my creative idea of doing it. And it worked, and I'm just really excited about what's happening right now. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jeff McFatridge, and that's all you need to know because it sells the rest.
All right, as we're getting set up on this presentation, Jody, could you get with Nick and make sure Cowboys is ready to go? It's ready to go. Oh, there he is. All right, in the beginning, that's not a Bible joke. In the beginning, as we were setting this up, we said,
Whoa.
Say, I got your back. Oh, I got your back.
Yeah, come on.
And I got your back too.
Yes.
We had 2 promotions that we were doing to get ready for this event. And I said, guys, if you get your convention ticket, we're going to put you in a drawing. And then I said, if you get your hotel room, we're going to put you in a drawing. About 30 minutes ago, I started on their little journey to 3 at-cost coins. Okay, if you're holding one of those, or you got it in front of you, can you just raise that up real quick? All right, can you bring that up? And there should be one more. Can you bring that up? All right. So the first winner of that coin as the giveaway, Celine Oliver. There you go. Liddy Lewis. Tell everybody what you see on that coin.
I see at-cost medals with the beautiful falcon feathers and all these little dots. What are all these
No,
little
that's
dots?
actually a miniaturized logo.
Yes.
So super fine detail. And
Let me
that,
take my glasses off. Oh, let me see it.
okay, without any further ado, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I think this is going to be one of my favorite presentations. You know, no pressure.
I'm having to follow Todd. That crushed it. Give a hand for Todd. That was amazing. So I get this all the time. Are you a real cowboy? Right? So that's actually me. And if you look at the date at the bottom, that's why I almost got thrown off the stage and I don't ride bulls anymore.
Is that a real bull?
Huh? Oh yeah. Yeah, real bull. So I started riding when I was 9. Retired when I was 22. I rode in Oklahoma and woke up in Texas 4 days later. That was my clue to quit.
Wow.
But so I just wanted everybody to know, yeah, I used to be a real cowboy. Now I raise these. I got a whole ranch of bucket bulls. But who in here in their life has had a dream to do something, to be something, to acquire something? Okay. How many of y'all have given up on that dream? Maybe because of age, maybe because of injuries or financial. So I really hate on following Todd. I was sort of hoping Todd would suck. Just being honest. But at least if I'll follow an Antoine, right? So, you know, I've heard people walking by and I hear them say stuff, you know, about Cowboy's this millionaire. I've heard people say, yeah, he made $30,000 his first check. But what they're leaving out is that was 3.5, almost 4 months of 16, 18-hour days, burning up the phones, people telling me no, people asking me stupid questions. And I just kept going because I knew Troy and I knew JD, and we got the best product in the world. We're selling it cheaper than anyone on the planet. How stupid do you have to be not to do that? You know, you can sell that to anybody, right? But what I want to let y'all know is my whole talk here is to give somebody, hopefully all of y'all, but some of y'all, hope, okay? God can do a lot in a year. So I'm going to start out and tell y'all something, that anything good I say in this thing, I'm giving God all the glory, and anything bad, I'll take full credit for it. Right? So not arrogant, not prideful. Everything I have now, I got because the Lord blessed me with. At 54 years old, hit the first slide. At 54 years old, it was during COVID. I got married and divorced in 2020. Got laid off my job. Blew the engine in my pickup. Got evicted. This is an eviction notice from my apartment I was living in. Wound up living in a Motel 6 in Joshua, Texas. It was $58 a night. It was during COVID, like I said. I'm a carpenter by trade, so every morning I would wake up and put on tool pouches, and I didn't have a car, so I would walk through neighborhoods and knock on doors and ask if they needed a fence repaired, roof done, doghouse built, whatever, right? But most people wouldn't even open the door because I didn't have a mask on and I refused to wear one. But my goal in life at that time, at 54 years old, was to make $58 so I'd have someone to sleep that night, right? And I'm not trying to give you a sob story, but I'm saying the best that I could do got me where I was at 54 years old, right? Go to the next one. I'll have to explain this, but keep going. Statement Vixen notes. Okay, so the people that know me well, okay, the last thing in the world I would sell would be my children, but the number 2 last thing in the world I would sell would be my bow, because I'm an avid bow hunter, right? So this is my bow. Pawned it at the pawn shop. You see the December 15th, 2020. Go to the next one. I don't even know what it is. Okay. This was my transportation. And when I was going through this process, I was asking the Lord, I'm like, why are you having me document me sucking at life, basically? You know, why am I documenting? It don't even make sense to me. But I did it. You know, I was obedient. And about this time, I saw a guy on Facebook, a guy I don't like, I don't trust, I can't stand him. But he posted something on Facebook, and just out of, I didn't want other people to get hurt, basically. And I contacted him. I said, hey, you don't need to be saying stuff like that. You're going to get whatever company you work for shut down. And he messaged me back and said, no, it's real. It's a crypto company. It's based in the United States. They're based out of Wyoming. And of course, it was an affiliate marketing program, right? Which you need to realize, and unless you've been there, it's hard to believe. When you're that broke, when you don't have a car and you're coming up with $58 for a hotel room, a normal job won't get you out of that position.
No.
If I would have got $1,000 a week job, it wouldn't have got me out of there, because the hotel was almost $500 a week. And then you talk about food. I wouldn't have had money for a down payment on a car. I wouldn't have had money for a deposit on a rent house. A normal job wouldn't have got me out, right? So this opportunity he told me about, I said, hey, can you get the owner on the phone? Because I still don't believe this guy. He gets the owner on the phone. He verifies everything. And it was my only hope. You know, I didn't know a whole lot about crypto. I knew some people made a lot of money. I knew some people lost money. I started out with a pair of boots. Next slide. Okay, so this company paid daily. This was my first month's check. And you can tell I was getting wealthy. So I got in on December the 28th of 2020. This is my check in March. Now, you'd go to the previous slide, can you? So right here, I'm like, this is helping me towards my $58 every day, right? And it paid me every day. So I had no hope right here. I'm just saying, hey, it's helping. So I had help right here. This was I came in December 20th. This is my January check for the whole month. Next one is March. Now this day right here, I made $898 in one day. And I told myself, man, if I did that one day, I could do it again, right? So I took this money, go to the next slide. I bought my first vehicle, okay? Now, a couple things I want you to realize here. When you make a decision to change your life, don't pay any attention to anybody around you. At this time, everybody I knew, everybody I went to church with, everybody I was related to, knew I was living in a hotel, knew I was broke, and they were not taking financial advice from me, right? At all. Okay? But it was my only alternative. So I bought this 1997 S10 Blazer. Now, the thing about this Blazer, I paid $1,500 for it. It didn't have a reverse, okay, which is fine. But when I would set up meetings at restaurants, and then I would get there an hour early, and I would park way out back so they wouldn't see what I was driving, because if they saw me driving that, they're not giving me no money. And one of the funny stories about this is I'd had my clothes done at this cleaners I've been using for years. And about 7:30 in the morning, I pull up to the cleaners, and the lady, I know her, and I walk in, and she's always in a good mood, and she wasn't in a good mood. And I'm like, my God, you look like you're having a bad day. It's too early to have a bad day. I said, you could be like me and have a car that don't have a reverse, and if you park in the wrong spot, you got to push it. And she leans out around me and starts laughing. I parked right in front of the door of the cleaners. And I said, I don't know what you're laughing at. You're the only one here to help me push it down. Anyway, so this gave me transportation, right? So it helped me start making more money. Go to the next slide. Okay, so I'm a boot freak, shoe freak. I went buy me some new shoes, so when I would show up at a meeting in that piece of junk, nobody knew I was in the piece of junk, but I dressed nice, so they would buy crypto, right? So that was my first goal. My second one was this. I live in Texas. Next clip. Okay, this was my second vehicle. It had a reverse.
Oh, yeah.
And it had an air conditioner. Okay? Praise God, because I live in Texas. So I still parked in the back of the parking lot, as you can see why, right? But at this time, I started making a little bit of money, and people were starting to go, hey, man, you know, Jeff's not Jeff's doing pretty good. The guy in McLaren's got some really nice boots and clothes. Go to the next slide. So now we're popping up, and I'm making money like I ain't ever seen money like this before, like crazy money, right? So I'm too old to ride bulls, and evidently I'm too old to jump on stage. But I've always loved bulls, right? So I made enough money that I bought a PBR franchise. Anybody know what the PBR is? Professional bull riders who come on TV all the time. To compete in that, not riding, trust me, to put bulls in there as competition, you have to own a franchise. So I bought a franchise. And I love that 10th check right there, 28,000 in a day. In a day. Just blows my mind still. Okay, next. Did pretty good on the 10th. That 10th was bonus day, right? So, 2020, divorce. Oh, I forgot. Cut off my middle finger. Divorce, cut off my middle finger, lost my job, blew up managing my truck, lost my house, wound up living in a hotel. So from December the 28th of 2020, December 28th, 2021, God can do a lot in a year. So the problem is everybody in this room, we've been taught wrong, lied to. Like we're taught, what's everybody say? Man, I just want to be comfortable. How many people have you heard say that? I don't want to be wealthy. I just want to be comfortable. Right? Comfortable is your enemy. When you get comfortable, you quit trying to go further. God might want you up here and you get comfortable down here. And it ain't about the money. I do what I do for freedom, time freedom. April the 12th of last year, I had a heart attack. And I'll tell you, up until that time, I didn't value time like I do now. Todd will tell you, Todd's had me on he's had me on thousands of three-way calls. But he's had me on a couple that the people would start getting negative. And I said, hey, I don't do negativity. And then the next thing you know, what would I do?
I'm out. You're gone.
I hang up. and the people are going, what happened to him? And Todd's like, yeah, he don't do negative. Sorry. And I don't. So, the bad thing is this company did a rug pull. Okay? So I went from flat broke to a multimillionaire in 12 months, and then they did a rug pull. So, it was devastating to me and all my people. But, next slide. That was my final vehicle. Did you see the bonus check on the 10th for $57,000? I went and bought that truck.
Come on.
Right? So a lot of people go, why'd you buy that big fancy truck? A buddy of mine actually traded a horse, swear to God, for that truck. And I bought the truck from him for what he was wanting for the horse. So I spent one day's salary on my vehicle. A lot of people spend a couple years' salary on the vehicle. Next, chocolate Cayman crocodile interior. I would never do that myself, but that was a bonus. God was like, hey, you want something to match your boots? Here you go.
Come on.
Okay, so I'm a network marketer, right? So I understand marketing. Right? So I named my business Bucky Crazy. I have t-shirts, I have caps. Some of them say, let's go bucking crazy. The world's bucking crazy. I'm bucking. Oh, here you go, Todd. I get Todd's son. So now this was just part of my dream. I was a chaplain at the sheriff's department for over 20 years. I go into court to defend inmates. Now, not all the inmates. When I'm in there preaching and the Lord says, hey, Jeff, I'll go up in front of the judge and the DA and I'll tell them, we won't even go into my past, but there's a reason I got to this kind of ministry, by the way. But I appear in front of the judge and the DA and I said, hey, look, let's do an agreed amended order. And instead of you sending this young man to prison and him getting a TDC number for 10 years, release him into my custody for a year and let me decide to him. So I've been doing that for about 27 years now. But a couple of years ago, the Lord told me to get young men before they get to that place. So my goal right now is to build and I'm actually building it right now. It's called Jacob's Well, where all who thirst can come to drink. And I'm taking in boys from the age of 5 to the age of 17. And the first thing I'm teaching them is the Bible. The second thing I'm teaching them is the Constitution of the United States. I'm teaching them how to grow a garden, how to plant a garden, how to harvest a garden, how to store food, can food, how to cook. I'm amazed how many 30 and 40-year-old men, if their microwave goes out, they're starving to death and going to moms. So I'm going to teach them how to cook. Mr. Bass, I'm glad you read it. Anyway, so my dream wasn't to make a lot of money in a crypto company, right? My dream was to raise bucking bulls and have a boys' home that I could take boys in. God used that opportunity to get me to where I wanted to go and just caught me off guard. I'm telling you right now that this company is so safe. The reason I came here, you can ask JD. I said the money's great, okay? But I turned 58 years old last month, right? I'm not no spring chicken. I cared about longevity, okay? I don't care if I get in here and make a couple $1 million and then the company fades. I need something I know is going to be here until the cows come home.
Yeah.
No pun intended, right? This is it, okay? Realize on most companies, you're paying $100 auto ship, right? At the end of the year, you spent $1,200, right? And you've got vitamins or potions or whatever that's going to expire. You have to consume them. Over here, let's say it's $100 a month. At the end of the year, you haven't spent a penny. You spent nothing. You've took $1,200 and put it in your own portfolio, and more than likely, the way the economy is right now, it's increased in value anyway, right? Paper money is going away. If you can't see that writing on the wall, you've got your head in the sand.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on.
So
Come on.
me and Todd built on three-way calls. There's lots of ways to do it. Sharon was the genius that came up with the conference call things. We were signing up people 15, 16 at a time. Just on it. And here's something that Sharon did, and we agreed to this. When we did a conference call, we showed the value of having a membership at At-Cost Metals. We compared prices live and showed them that we're the best deal. There is nobody better, you know. And Sharon would say, okay, whoever wants to buy a membership, email me. She would sign them up. They would buy their membership. Once the membership was bought, we would say, hey, by the way, there's a second stream of income opportunity attached to this if you're interested in making some extra money. And the ones that said, yeah, we walked them through the process. The ones that said no, fine, no big deal. The majority of the ones that said no, when the metal hits their hands, it's human nature to brag, right? They start showing their buddies. And the next thing you know, they're emailing Sharon and go, hey, I got a buddy that saw my silver. He wants to buy a membership. So they start networking without even wanting to network. But I mean, this is all about not quitting. Don't care what's going on around you. And this is about lifting others up. People, what would you not do? You know, 30,000 a week, right? So Todd said I can't spell, but I'm really good at math. So that's $1.56 million a year. That's $178 an hour, every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What would you not do for that? If I told you to go mow grass every day for a year, and I'll pay you $1.56 million, would you? Yeah.
Yes.
I would even paint. I hate painting worse than anything on the planet. I would paint for that kind of money, right? But what else is there? This is it. But I hope y'all see that God can do a lot in a year. And like Sam said a while ago, you're at the beginning of Uber.
Yes.
This is not a gold club. This is a system that Justin and Troy created. That I believe, just my opinion, that in 2 to 3 years, this will be the only way anybody buys metals. The majority of people buy it online anyway right now. Very few people go to the physical store and pick it up. So if they can do the same thing here for less, for the same quality of metals, they're coming here. And why not benefit financially from it? So,
Yes.
thank y'all.
I love you, cowboy. Woo!
He's he's an anomaly. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so JD's gonna come up and make a few announcements. We just want you to know, we're gonna break for lunch at noon, but we are going to, that 2-hour time span has now been shortened. So it's an hour and a half. So we'll be meeting back here to resume at 1:30. All right, go ahead, Justin.
Thank you very much. One more time for Cowboy. Okay, we've got some items. Nobody jump up just yet. I can already see this coming. So we're gonna have to move some tables and chairs out of the way in the back. But this is a sampling of what we've got coming. Everybody loves 100-ounce bars. Everybody loves generic rounds, low-cost bullion, Eagles, Maples, Krugerrands, the same thing that we all know and love and talk about all the time. Okay, but there is an additional side to what we do. Super, super cool, artistic, just beautiful pieces of art. Somewhere on this side, I believe, there should be a box. There it is. Oh, okay. Might need to speed that passing along up. And then somewhere on this side, we've got a big 10-ounce bar. Okay. Is that it? A 10-ounce coin. All right. So in 2 minutes, let's get it all the way to the back of the room. And a minute after that, let's pass it around to the front. So my point is, we've got an entire world that we're adding to our shopping cart. Okay, in addition to the wonderful talent coins that Mr. Martin will be talking about here shortly. Right, beautiful coins, sold over 1 million of the 1-ounce silver talents. We're adding more. Okay, and this will probably broaden your horizons, and you didn't even know this existed. This entire world of artistic numismatic metals.
Yeah.
So, what do you think so far about that, Cowboy? Did you get a chance to see that? You didn't. Okay. Did you get a chance to see it? Amazing, beautiful, highly artistic, right, in that round. So what we're going to do is in the back, we've got several items that Eloy probably already bought, but we're still going to put them up on display in the back. So if you want to take a look and you're inclined to do something just for the sake of trying to get all this done at lunch, during lunch, and even after, so we're not going in everywhere. But it is cool to just have them take a picture. Text yourself your username, your ID, and make sure you're funded or have cash, because there's a lot of people that are going to want, you're going to want something when you get back there. The ACM coins that we pass through, those are exclusive for this event for now. So if you're here, you're the only ones that can get it. So, please don't just buy all of them if you're at the front. We want to make sure everybody has this and because those coins can't be duplicated in the sense that this is the first big kickoff event. So we want to make sure that those coins are available to everyone that wants one today. So have your username and be funded if you're not paying with cash. If you are, then you're good to go. In the back, just let Josh know what you're looking for. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and take our lunch break. It'll be available starting at exactly 12, just right next door. So they're in the same room that we have breakfast. And then we've condensed that down to 1:30. So please be ready to go. And then our next speaker will be, of course, Aaron Early. All right. So thanks so much. We'll see you right after the break.